What is up YouTube, it's your boy SmackNPie here. Welcome to the Q&A recap, probably the most important Q&A in a very long time. This has been a great month for us Dork Deception fans. We got a brand new look at the archive room, we got Dork Deception Fortnite and teasers within the Dork Deception Fortnite that lead us directly into the Chapter 5, and we are just a few days away from our first ever Dork Deception. Yes, Dork Deception Chapter 5 Teaser 01. But today isn't the video for that, because today is the video for holiday horror details that we've learned from the Q&A. Without wasting my time, let us jump into it. So the first one we're going to talk about is somebody asked, are Lucky, Dork Star, and Puppet King aware of the Demon God? Now, what is this Demon God? I need to give you guys some context on Demon God, because it has been confirmed that Demon God is not Malik Lady. Well, kinda, sorta, not really. Well, when Dork Deception Fortnite dropped, there was a poem, right, in the lobby of that Fortnite map. When you play it, there's an evil variant version of Tammy Hauser singing what seems to be a warning, we should say, towards the arrival of Demon God. It's like something we've awakened in the dark realm. So Vince replied that yes, they are aware of Demon God, however only Malik knows more. Of course, that makes all the sense in the world. He should know about Demon God. Above everyone, he should be the one to know about Demon God. He also said that the Demon God will be central to Chapter 5's story, and he also said not just Chapter 5 story, but also Dork Deception 2, the sequel. We're going to talk about this in just a second. We're going to move on a little bit from this because we're going to talk about Mannequins a little bit. Somebody asked about the Red Stalkers and how do they sound like. Vince replied, their sounds are original, not reused from other enemies. And somebody said, okay, are the sounds related to the holiday horror track? Like, can we deduce that these mannequins will sound like something just by listening to the OST tracks that have already been released? He said no, they are unrelated. We have not, got much about their behavior or their sounds, but for those who have read the book, and once again, I don't know when that book video is gonna drop. I might have to do a very small 8 to 10 minutes recap video on that. But in the book, ladies and gentlemen, we actually got a little bit of teasery thingy. But somebody asked, why don't male stalkers have heads? You might be seeing the teaser on your screen. This is what they're referring to, by the way. Vince replied, design choice specifically. Their larger size would clash with tight spaces if they had pointy heads. This is in lore explanation for why the red mannequins, the male red mannequins, don't have heads, but they have bigger bodies, right? And the female mannequins, they have pointy heads, complete body. Females are sleeker. That kind of sort of gives us a little bit insight into the personalities of these mannequins. They're not just dumb mannequins. They actually have personalities, and there's actually a reason for their design as well. I like that. But moving on, somebody asked, is Puppet King buff? Now, there were similar questions about Puppet King design. It was revealed and confirmed that this Puppet King design is not final, ladies and gentlemen. He said, there are actually two ways this could go. Well, he first said there were two ways to go, but at the end he said it's gonna change. He said that he could end up being a very swole character or a very thin character, like a muscular person or a very thin person. But then he ended up saying he's gonna be in between the two, right? Not too muscular, but not too thin. Because being the way he is, like he has muscles, right? He's got those muscles, but he's not too muscular because it's design, right? At the end of the day, it's mannequin, right? You gotta understand the material of the thingy, right? But somebody also asked, continuing this, is that what is Beers' last name? Vince said her full name is Helen Beers. Because I thought we already knew that, so unless it was never confirmed outright officially, I think we already know. But then he drops this lore upon us. He says, Beers hates Helen. Why? It is explored in Chapter 5, and he gave us the hint that there is an OST titled Don't Call Me Helen. In there, we will learn about Beers' backstory, and he said it's a bit emotional. We'll learn why and her Hollywood-related stuff. There's a separate video coming in the next few days that'll talk a little bit more about Beers, but it will be talked about. Then it was asked, can you reveal anything new about Dork Star or Puppet King? Vince said, no. I've given away too much already, but he also said that before Chapter 5, at the end of 2 Chapter 5 teasers, that when we get 01 and 02 teasers, we will learn more and we will have a better look at both of these characters. I like that. Then it was asked, are there white mannequin variants? Because we have not seen much about them. And can we call them white walkers? Vince said yes and sure, but remember they don't walk. We talked about this in the past as well, that how white mannequins are like kind of sort of traps that blend into the environment. He also said that white variants slide like stop motion puppets. We talked about this before. The confusion with white mannequins, it's 50-50. There are white mannequins that are enemies, but not really enemies in it, like red stalkers, and there are other enemies in the mannequins level. He also said that there are white versions of the red stalkers, and they are far worse. He said that in chapter 5 they don't walk, but they twitch into a place with unnatural movement, just like we said about the stop motion puppets. So yeah, white mannequins being like enemies as well as traps is what we're deducing here. Red mannequins, they're most likely the normal enemies of the mall level, right? Okay, this was all the important stuff that we learned so far from the holiday horror, aka mannequins level. I will end the video with saying that in the book we have a whole separate story that has to do with mannequins, right? And I will be making a separate video, but I will say this. There are mannequins in the book that are on their fours, right? And this is what I deem to be white mannequins as well as red mannequins. Red mannequins, like, they walk, but they also are on their feet. Like we talked about, because they have pointy, sharp ends of both feet and hands, of course it would be tougher for them to just walk normally, so they would be most likely on their feet like a spider or something, right? And actually the book goes into very graphic detail about how their pointy sharps and ends are very powerful, like full-blown spikes, right? Our main characters actually encounter white mannequins. So we will continue this discussion after the Q&A when we do talk about the book, because there are a lot of stuff in there. There's actually a boss that I want to talk about in one of these Q&A. So stay tuned, there's some good stuff coming, lore stuff and all that other stuff. Susu for 100k, I'll see you in the next one, which would be about Dark Star.